Day 10 of G1Climax30 is in the books, and once again, it was another block balancing day, and we made history, but that's some really good matches too, as we look forward towards what's to come next on day 11. Hello, everybody. Good evening, good morning, good night. Konnichiwa to you all. My name is Noah Foster, and I am just a simple man, and welcome once again to another simple preview review, not in that order. In this video, we'll be discussing the action that took place today from day 10 in Hiroshima and looking towards the action tomorrow morning on day 11 that will also emanate from Hiroshima. With that being said, let's go ahead and get right into it. Today, Mark B. Block Gaisha, but of course, we start with our unofficial Young Lions G1 run. My good friend Cindy G. Please follow her podcast in the stratosphere. She calls it the C block of G1Climax30. It was a very competitive bout between the NJPW boys as Yota Tsuji and Uyemura, they tore into each other. Things really got into favor when Yoshi Tsuji pulled off that incredible spear, but Uyemura came super close to tapping out Yota Tsuji, but Yota Tsuji, he resisted and made it to the ropes, literally as Uya was slowly bending him backwards. As the clock was ticking down in our very last minutes, these two were just ushering in vicious forearm shivers to each other, going for quick near pinfall attempts, but neither man could get it done. It is our second draw of the Young Lions run during the G1. And now the score stands with Yota Tsuji, Uyemura both staying at 3, while Kid is down 2, but now each one of these 3 have a draw underneath their sheet. I must say, this was quite surprising to me. And again, I still believe my pick of Yota Tsuji probably taking the whole thing. And considering that we still have 9 days of G1 Climax action to come, it's really anybody's ball game at this point. So I'm curious to see where we go from here. But right now, Kid, I'm sure he was watching very closely. I'm sure he was scouting his upcoming opponents. And we'll see how all 3 of these men bounce back. But it was great action. Good competitive 15-minute opener. What was not so competitive, but made history as the fastest G1 Climax match in history, according to Chris Charlton and at the Chris Samsa. Thank you, Chris Charlton, for confirming that with me. As Hiroki Goto made history, but also kept history normal as well against Toru Yano. Toru Yano, who immediately offered him his shirt, said no. And literally before you could blink, there was a roll-up with Goto for the win over Toru Yano, 1, 2, 3, in 18 seconds, as I briefly looked at the notes from NJPW1972.com as I do with all of these. And now Hiroki Goto, he moves to 4, while Toru Yano stays at 6. And again, what else can you say? 18 seconds, people. That is the fastest recorded match in G1 Climax history. Who would have thought that we made history on a whole different front during this G1? I always consider the 30th G1 very special, but this one was definitely groundbreaking. So I must say, I was really surprised. Anyway, as we move on from there, and by the way, in case you're wondering how fast the previous match, as I look at the history, and Chris Charlton, of course, he enlightened me, and I quote, it was half the time of Kenzo Suzuki's prior record against Yasuda. So literally, go watch that 30-second match. Want to watch a quick classic, because this one was 18 seconds. Unbelievable. Okay, but now things really picked up in G1 Climax action for today, as we had Zack Sabre Jr. and Sonata, a match of 2 technical masters. And this match was literally a game of human chess, as both men were countering one another, and literally at every point of the way, Zack Sabre Jr. seemed to have had a counter for Sonata, logging him in very vicious arm bars, excuse me, so I'm tired. This takes a lot of value watching it live, folks, even after you sleep afterwards, and still work. Anyway, after a bit of a technical showcasing by both, we find both men trading near falls. There's at least 6 of them, I think, and Sonata came this close to catching Zack Sabre Jr. I knew these two were going to have a competitive technical match because I remember what they did at Wrestle Kingdom literally last year. Anyway, or no, wait, it was this year. Yeah, it was this year, my bad. Anyway, as this match continued, it became more of a decisive approach as Zack Sabre Jr. came off of the left ankle of Sonata and really started working the legs, trapping the arms, driving his elbow into Sonata's rib cage. And then both men, basically, they tried to hyperextend each other's arms. Things really got in control, though, for Sonata for a brief moment until Sonata basically hit him with a drop kick. And then he got caught in a ground cobra on the floor, not abdominal stress, where Zack Sabre Jr. ties you up on the floor, basically. And even though Zack Sabre Jr. seemed like he has Sonata's number at this point, surprised he didn't hold it for near the 20 count. There was a drop kick out of the knees of the Breton, a re-entry into the ring, and Zack Sabre Jr., he basically replied with a short arm twist. But here's where things really got interesting, as the arm finally was worked over for Sonata by Zack Sabre Jr., and it seemed like he was really hindering Sonata trying to lock in Skull End, which he tried a couple of times here, and Zack Sabre Jr. found escape. As Sonata found the Skull End one more time towards the end, he noticed Zack Sabre Jr. was trying to escape, so he fought ahead. And literally, as we approached the end of this match, I thought we were going to get repeat of history at Wrestle Kingdom, because Zack Sabre Jr. came this close to catching Sonata, and once again, double leg Nelson European clutch. But history did not repeat here. As we get to the very end, he literally goes over the top, out of the Skull End, turns it into a top rope assisted TKO, and hits his Muda moonsault, and that gives him the win. 1, 2, 3. So Sonata's momentum continues, and he's now 2 wins in a row. Is he on the verge of a J1 run from last year, I wonder, as he is still my block pick to win, but I also think about Zack Sabre Jr., who now stays at 4 points as well. He and Sonata are kind of in the same boat. Sonata, of course, Zack Jr. was very frustrated because, again, this match, it was his professional wrestling, as he proves and always believes that he is the best technical wrestler, not just British, but just in general. And again, it was a really good back and forth game of human chess, but checkmate. Zack Sabre Jr., Sonata got ya. And I really enjoyed this match. Then we go into a match of Evil versus Juice Robinson. And really, Juice Robinson came super close. But like I said, who plays the difference maker? Dick Togo in Evil's corner. And literally, it was right at the bell where Dick Togo made his presence known. Got the best of Juice Robinson after Juice Robinson tried to tie up Evil on a full Nelson and a chair to the back. Ouch. And literally, it was Evil for most of this match, but Evil, he basically was being counter wrestled by Juice Robinson during most of this match, including a half crab attempt. But then Juice Robinson, of course, he worked the lower back of Evil, he worked the lower back of Juice Robinson after suplex the chairs on the outside and throwing him into an exposed turnbuckle. Remember, folks, in an Evil match, always expect an exposed turnbuckle corner. But Robinson really showed grit and determination, really came back. There was a cannonball followed by a high cross for a 2, and then Juice found a full Nelson attempt into a thrust kick counter, and then a boot that sent Robinson plunging from the second rail to the floor at the 10-minute mark. As this match continued, Evil missed with a follow-up senton counter, and Juice connected with a ridiculous lay out the corner, turning Evil inside out. And following this, we get a superplex. And I thought he was going to go for a fucking arrow fall on this. No, he doesn't. He does a jackhammer. I thought he had him. Juice did not. As Evil was really reeling at this point, he just wanted to get away from a Juice. And Dick Togo, he made his presence known and helped his Friday. And basically, from ringside recovery, we got a chair shot again to Robinson's spine. Ouch, again, the spine being worked on throughout this match. But Robinson continued to out-wrestle Evil until basically Red Shoes got distracted and then literally juice box for a 2 count, close to victory. But as he was going for it, Togo comes back into play with a distraction from ringside, and we get a dreaded low blow, and everything is Evil. 1, 2, 3, damn it. It annoys me, with the fact that we just have this guy here just really ruining these classics. But again, it's Bullet Club, they ran against say, but Evil, Bullet Club, that's still mixed feelings to me. Anyway, now both Evil and Juice Robinson, they are tied at 6 points as block leaders at this point. We'll have to see how the run goes for both men. I feel that you still are very strong candidates as we head closer and closer to the finals. Moving on from there, we go into a match that's covered in history, as it was relayed to me by Karen on Twitter. Please follow her. And if you want to know more about her, just follow my good friend Cindy G. She gave a translation to what commentator was saying as they talk about the history of Yoshi Hashi and Tetsuya Naito, all the way back from humble beginnings, back to their training where Tetsuya Naito was accepted in NJPW, but Yoshi Hashi wasn't. And people wonder, does Yoshi Hashi belong in New Japan Pro Wrestling? Well, after this competitive physical bout with the double champ Tetsuya Naito, I would say so, even in defeat. Tetsuya Naito, he knows Yoshi Hashi very, very well, and Naito was able to show all his traditional moves, including kilo. But then we got a bunker buster counter to Naito's DDT that put the match into Yoshi Hashi's favor, followed by a top rope neck breaker as he continued to have the match to his favor. This was a very aggressive match. We then got a Frankensteiner counter into a power bomb. Yoshi Hashi did get a power bomb pulled off, and then we got some strong offense, followed by Naito finding out from underneath, and they were just raining blows from each other in the corner. Yoshi Hashi finally sinks in the butterfly lock, which is his known submission move to give him the win, but Naito escapes and then lands his own swinging DDT and Gloria for the first near fall of this match. Yoshi Hashi, although he kicked out, and then he continued, and literally Naito goes for Destino. Yoshi Hashi counters that into a second attempted Destino, not enough. Then we get a Lariat. Both men are down on the mat. Man, Lariatos, New Japan Pro Wrestling wrestlers throw. As both men continue to fight all the way to getting up on their feet, trading forearm shivers back and forth, Yoshi Hashi finally landed a shoulder breaker and trapped Naito in the butterfly lock again. And things were really going in favor of the headhunter here. You figured that maybe finally he get the best of Tetsuya Naito after, what, 8 previous attempts? But following this, Naito was finally able to make it up to the ropes to break the secondary butterfly lock. We're only halfway through this match. And then basically we try for Kumagoroshi, as I learned the official names of these moves. Thank you, NJPW972.com. And then it gets countered with knees. And once again, Naito is in control, but Yoshi Hashi continues to stay in this and fight as hard as he can. Huge dragon suplex followed by lariat combo for a 2 count as the crowd were stomping their feet in anticipation, followed by a second Kumagoroshi attempt, but that would be countered into kind of a Destino, not quite enough. But Yoshi Hashi then countered the full version of Destino as Naito tries to go for the full effective move and scored Ushigoroshi for an even closer near fall to 3. Only got 2 counts. The crowd was really behind the headhunter. But as this match slowly progressed toward the 10, and Yoshi Hashi was trying to put it away with his finisher, Karma, the two connected with each other, and Naito got the better of him with Valencia, and literally he said, that's enough. You've had your chance. I'm ending this. Naito finally hits one last emphatic Destino and gets the win over Yoshi Hashi, 1, 2, 3, to become the official leader at this point of the B block with 8 points, while Yoshi Hashi remains at 2. Heart, will, and value were definitely showcased by Yoshi Hashi in this match. He continues to try and show why he belongs to New Japan Pro Wrestling. Don't count him out, and continues to just try and be the best wrestler he can be, because this is his passion. This is what he wants to do. And Naito, of course, has his own show way of showing respect as he just waits for Red Shoes to raise his hand. But the bottom line is this. It was a really good competitive match. I respect Yoshi Hashi and the heart that he puts in. It really has been, I think, one of the strongest showcases of the year for Yoshi Hashi in his career. And I'm not just saying that because he holds the gold now to 12 years. But overall, these are matches people go back, look back, remember, be like, he's got potential. He just might do it next time. And who knows? He just might. But today just wasn't his night. Good try, Headhunter. Good try. Which leads us into our main event. Second ever one-on-one encounter in New Japan Pro Wrestling, as this was also a rematch from last year's G1 Climax where these two first meet. And the first encounter, it was trying to be founded on respect when the Ace refused to shake Kenta's hand in defeat after Kenta beat him. This, however, you know what Kenta's about now. Victory by any means necessary, but you never count out the Ace. As it was Hiroshi Tanahashi taking on Kenta. And these two, they basically wailed into each other. Kenta, of course, in the early going of the match, he basically had control of the Ace, really bait him to the floor. But Tanahashi, he's the guy that is also no nonsense. You disrespect him or his hair, bad move, he will fall up on you. He got Kenta with a drop kick and cross body before Kenta basically stopped the Ace's momentum altogether at the ropes and then went outside, of course, to slow down the match. Then Kenta capitalized on the outside, assaulting the Ace, using, of course, the blue ring barricade, wrapping Tanahashi's leg around it at one point and literally stomping it, once again hindering those legs that the Ace is known to use for high fly flow. And of course, he wants to hinder that in case he does do that later, in which case the Ace would not be able to capitalize. As this match continues to go forward, though, multiple dragon screws by both men really turned the match in a back and forth seesaw type pattern, but there was a nice flipping senton point by the Ace for a 2 count in the early going. As the left knee was continuing to really bug him, that's what Kenta was focusing on here. There was a temporary hesitation at one point because of this too, where Kenta capitalized with a power slam and that tornado gun stun to put Tanahashi flat on the mat. And then literally locks the ace in the figure four, thus hindering the legs even more. But the ace did not quit. The ace did not tap out. As he made it to the ropes, literally a struggle ensued again, both men firing forearm shivers back and forth until Kenta found a dropkick to the knee and a dragon screw from the apron to the floor. Now, whether or not this was botched or maybe in safety, I don't think Kenta got all the dragon screw on the ace from the apron to the floor, and maybe that was in the ace's best interest because that could have really, really ended badly for the ace. I mean, imagine just face first in the apron or knee crashing into the steel part of the apron. Something about that figure four from the apron, I feel like Kenta wanted to do more with, but he didn't get the full impact of. Anyway, as this match continues, we then go, of course, with Tanahashi bouncing and firing back against Kenta, landing a sling blade for a bit of a moment. Really some temporary blows with back fists as well. There was one spinning back fist where I thought Kenta legitimately knocked the ace out. Good grief velocity on that. And Kenta continued to show his ring of narrativeness, breaking the ace once again into the apron, looking for a green killer. But Tanahashi, hey, turnabout's fair play. He hits Kenta with his own dragon screw over the ropes and then literally locks his own submission, the Texas Cloverleaf, first time in this match. But Kenta, he was able to get free of the hold, and Tanahashi continued the onslaught with a dropkick in the corner and then goes to continue the advantage until Kenta basically used the referee to his advantage. And then at this point, I think the ace was just in fight mode because Red Shoes is down, folks. Red Shoes is down as he is pancaked, literally, on Kenta, well, under Kenta, actually. Pancake, under Kenta, and under the ace. Red Shoes is down for the moment. Now all hell is going to break loose. And I knew that case had to come in play eventually. So Kenta finally grabs the case and literally bashes it open over the ace's head as the ref finally comes back into, I guess, consciousness. He does count, but only gets a 2 count. We then get a PK and a Basaraku knee, or Saiku knee, sorry, for another 2 counts, still not enough. Tanahashi, of course, had no answer, though, to that knee follow to the jaw, as Kenta looked to really finish this with go to sleep. But somehow Tanahashi, instinct alone, got out of it with an emphatic twist and shout. And then 2 more of those. That's why I was literally just trapping him. And then a sling blade for a 2, followed by a high fly flow. Before, he didn't go for the second high fly flow, which I thought was very smart. He went back to the Texas Cloverleaf and literally bent to Kenta beyond the point of endurance that Kenta had no choice but to tap out. Kenta taps out to the ace, and Hiroshi Tanahashi leads the crowd home happy with an air guitar performance of his own, and a second one following that, and says, love you all. And Tanahashi, he moves forward in this G1 now with another 2 points, bringing him up to 6, second place among so many others, while Kenta, he stays at 4. Really good match. Now that you are 1-on-1, there has to be a lower match I happen eventually, but also now you got to consider Kenta has lost to 2 people. They each have a claim, I feel, to challenge Kenta now for that briefcase, as we know how G1 Climax works with the certificate from the G1. So Kenta better really try and put stuff together, or he's going to have a tough time holding that briefcase. And like I said, you don't count out the ace. Really good match. Longest match of the night. I think it went close to 25 minutes. Which ended today's action in the B block, and our scores now stands as follows. Tanahashi at 6, Robinson at 6, Goto at 4, Yano at 6, Yoshi Hashi at 2, poor headhunter. Tetsuya Naito leads the block solo, 8 points. Sonata at 4, Zack Sabre Jr. at 4, Kenta at 4, Eva at 6. So, while we still have 4 days of G1 Climax action at this point for all of our competitors, I think it's safe to say that unfortunately at this point, with only 2 points, there's no way the headhunter can find a way to win this. But I'm curious to see if he might play spoiler to anybody in his remaining G1 run and what score he does end up with come at the very end. And again, I really would like to see Yoshi Hashi in this G1 again. I think he's put on a hell of a performance. Now let's go ahead and look towards tomorrow's action. As folks, the stick continues. And to think, tomorrow we still have Thursday morning too. And then Friday we can rest. And then Saturday it picks up again. As we look towards day 11, A block action, once again for Hiroshima. And we see if the A block changes up any more than it already has. as our opening Young Lions bout features Yota Tsuji and Gabriel Kidd. Their singles record overall is 4-1-1 in Tsuji's favor, but it's 1 win, 1 loss, 1 draw on this tour. Something has to give. Kidd, I don't think, can afford to fall a 2-point deficit to either Uya or Yota Tsuji. So the way I see it, this got to go one of two ways. We're either getting a draw or Kidd's going to get a win, and everyone's going to be up at 3. Considering we just had a draw with Yota Tsuji and Uya Mira, I don't see a draw happening back to back because that doesn't normally happen in these Young Lion matches, to my knowledge, on these back-to-back tour days. So I think somehow Kidd is going to pull out the win here and really tie with everybody, and we're going to each go to 3 points. Following this, we go into the Stone Pitbull Tomohiro Ishii taking on Yujiro Takahashi. And what if we got a new pinch stick, by the way, too, after Shingo broke his last one. Anyway, the score stands as follows. Tomohiro, he has 4 points. Yujiro, goose egg, 0. If Yujiro doesn't win, then, well, he's already over. Let's focus the post. This G1's over. But I will say this. Ishii's never lost to the guy, okay? Tomohiro Ishii has been this guy on his previous G1 run, and singles records had him 4 times, but I will take that back because I can't, ignore history. My bad. Yujiro did beat this guy once. Now, I think about Tomohiro Ishii's run, and I think about the last time Yujiro actually beat him when he had that all-night-long theme, which I did recently watch when I was rewatching all Tomohiro Ishii's singles matches on NJPWWorld.com. He beat him back in 2014 for the Never Openweight title. So, can Yujiro repeat that 6 years later when there's no gold on the line, but just maybe to get out of freaking last place in the G1? I don't think so. I think that Tomohiro Ishii is going to beat the hell out of this guy. And once again, Tomohiro Ishii, he will come out on top. I'm going with the Stone Pit Bull here. Moving on from there, well, this should be interesting. It's their first ever singles meeting. Mega Kazuchika Okada takes on Jeff the Cobb. We all know Okada, he sits at, I believe, 6 points right now? While Jeff Cobb, he sits at 4. So here's the way I see it. Jeff Cobb, he's already gotten us one huge upset. Nobody saw that coming. Well, I'm sure a few have, but I sure the hell didn't. As he did beat Jay White, who was really leading this whole block. Now we have Okada here, who really is going to be challenged in a much different way against this hybrid juggernaut of power and grappling. But can Okada's money clip get the job done, as he still seems reluctant to bring back the Rainmaker Lariat? I look at this match, I look at Okada's run this year, I look at Jeff Cobb and where he might be going. And honestly, I want to think Jeff Cobb could pull off another upset, but this isn't Jay White, who's only been in New Japan Pro Wrestling for just a few years. This is the former longest reigning IWGP Heavyweight Champion, just saying. So, I got to go with the Rainmaker here. I got to go with Okada. Now, how he puts him to sleep or just catches him in a clutch roll-up, that we're going to have to wait and see. Just saying. Moving on from there, we got another first-time singles meeting as Will Ospreay, who sits at 6 points, takes on someone else sitting at 6 points, the King, and current never overweight champion, I might add, Minoru Suzuki. Gasanina Ray. Okay, well, Will Ospreay coming off a loss to Kota Ibushi in a great main event from last time. And we have Minoru Suzuki, who basically has been on a tirade and is furious considering his previous loss to Okada. You got to imagine if Will Ospreay beats Minoru Suzuki, that could be a tiebreaker in the very end where Okada and Ospreay meet. But then again, Okada beat Minoru Suzuki as well. So Minoru Suzuki beats Ospreay, that could possibly be the end for him come the very end, no matter what. And looking at these two, looking at this match, I'm not going against the King. I'm not going against the never overweight champion. It's going to be an interesting match to watch. We're going to really see how far Will Ospreay can push the King. I got to go with Minoru Suzuki for the win here. Moving on from here, this match, to me, is definitely going to be a decider on who I think everybody's going to believe is going to win this block. As we have the Holy Emperor, Taiji, taking on the Switchblade, Jay White. And both these men, they sit at 6 points. Singles record-wise, White did beat Taiji last year in the G1, but it involved Gato's assistance literally holding at one point Miho Abe. There will be no Miho Abe at ringside. Gato will be in play. But again, I keep asking, is Gato maybe over-pushing himself to try and give Jay White the win? And is that costing him in the end? And I feel like Gato right now is being a bit of a hindrance to Jay White. Just saying. Despite being a master strategist, I feel like Jay White's the bigger strategist. I look at this match. I look at both these men are going to bring. I look at the pants coming off in this too. I look at this being very competitive and heelish too. But figuring about my pick to win the block, figuring about what's next for both these men in the block, I am going to say that the Holy Emperor, Taiji, continues his monumental run of incredible matches, despite the fact both of these men just lost their previous day. I feel like Taiji is going to overcome the Switchblade here and continue moving forward. Again, I see this becoming Suzuki-gun versus LIJ storylines primarily for the gold heading into Wrestle Kingdom. Am I right or am I wrong? We'll have to wait and see. Before I continue, well, I'll tell you afterwards, because I feel those announcements are big as well, but they were told during the day, but it also highlights the future of New Japan Pro Wrestling as far as the next events go. But anyway, Taiji for the win here, which leads us to our main event. And I cannot believe that these two have not met each other yet. Kota Ibushi, the leader of this block, at 8 points, takes on Rampage Dragon for the first time ever in singles action under New Japan Pro Wrestling, as far as I know. Shingo Takagi, who sits at 4. Kota Ibushi, who has been on an unstoppable run since that huge win against Tomohiro Ishii, beating somebody he huge respects last time in Will Ospreay. Shingo Takagi, who's gotten the best of Yujiro Takahashi and also beat Will Ospreay. And Shingo Takagi's got a lot to prove here if he wants to take down Kota Ibushi, especially if Kota channels that interstate. This one right here, you truly can flip to a coin, considering how hard these two are going to go at each other. I honestly don't even know what to call this match or how to call it. This is going to be extremely interesting. When I figure about the fact that Ibushi and Takagi are literally the same age as well, just a little note I wrote down here because I was like, really? That's interesting. I really don't know what to think about this match here. This one's tough because if Kota Ibushi loses, that balances the block more in Shingo's favor. We might get sets up more closer towards Shingo versus Naito, which I know those two want to do again, respectively. And I think Kota Ibushi, he really has this God with a capital G complex he wants to try and fulfill, really pushing him forward. But probably before the fall, you wonder how far they could push him before it hinders him. Looking at this match, though, Kota, if he goes to 10 points, that is a huge deficit over many others, except for Taiji, who, if he wins, he goes to 8 points as well. And literally, that could be the deciding match. And I'm looking forward to that match, honestly. But looking at this match, I'm actually going to go with I'm going with Rampage Dragon to win here, actually. I'm going with Shingo Takagi. I think Shingo Takagi is going to really surprise people here and pull off the biggest win probably in his career. And again, that's all to come tomorrow, and then we'll see what everything checks out. With that being said, I do have a couple more things to also mention, as we did get some announcements regarding what's next after the G1. They will be doing Power Struggle in November and coexciting each other following Power Struggle, Best of Super Juniors 27, and the World Tag League, all the way through mid-November to mid-December. So a lot of great action coming up. I can't wait to see who comes back for the Best Super Juniors, including but not limited to possibly ELP, Show, Master Wato. I can see him debuting in this. Hiromu Takahashi's definitely got to be a key pick to see in this. Bushi, of course. I could also see maybe some people from NJPW Strong competing in the Lions Crown Cup to be in this as well. I wouldn't mind seeing like Danny Limelight or Logan Regal, the DKC, Clark Connors even, or my personal favorite right now, Blake Christian, but we'll have to wait and see. As far as World Tag League, maybe they can include the teams that they've been doing on NWW Strong. Obviously, you know we're going to see GLD. I could definitely see last year's winners, Finjuice, being in this thing. We probably will see the tag champions involved in this at all. And then I'm curious whether or not the Ace and the Golden Star will renew Golden Ace for the World Tag League as well. And those are just a few off the top of my head. But based on time and the fact they're going together, there's probably going to be like 8 participants, 8 teams and 8 total participants overall, I would think, in the tours respectively. And we'll have to wait and see how that all plays out and how they play out with each other during those shows. It's going to be a fun 9-tour show-long sprint. So get ready for that after the G1. You think we're going to leave after the G1? Nope. And then, of course, you know what's probably going to happen after that, even though they haven't announced anything in advance yet. Clearly, they got to do Road to Tokyo Dome, and then we got to figure out Wrestle Kingdom. Because, again, as soon as G1's over, we officially start building towards Wrestle Kingdom. I can only imagine what it's going to be like next year. What I'm also happy to hear is that we'll back the finals of both Best Super Juniors and the World Tag League. We'll be back in Nippon Budokan, which, of course, G1 won't be. We all know how treasured that building is for our finales of these tours. So I'm really looking forward to that as well. When it comes to Japan Pro Wrestling, there's the wrestling, there's the venues, there's the storytelling, and then there's the memorable moments and matches to remember. So much to love about this promotion. With that being said, that's all I have to say about now about New Japan Pro Wrestling. So thank you again for tuning in to this simple review and preview of things to come and things that have been done as we continue down this road in G1 Climax 30 to see who will be the one. If you want to know more about me, know this. I'm just a simple man, and a lifelong fan of ... wrestling. Everything you need to know about me is in the description down below what I support, but find me on Twitter, Instagram, PlayStation, and in Foster9016. Keep following the simple YouTube channel here, youtube.com/user/NoFoster210 for all things wrestling. Shout out to my ATW family on Twitter. Further content to come includes a special 2-week reunited edition of AEW Spark later this week, celebrating Chris Jericho, celebrating the 1-year anniversary of Dynamite, and looking forward towards the anniversary show next week, which will include at least Jon Moxley versus Lance Archer for the AEW World Championship. I can't wait to cover what happens though tomorrow on the dog color match. That's going to be bloody insane. And happy 30 years, Chris Jericho, in the wrestling business. And what's to come from that. Also, Big Swole versus NoDQ should be a really good match. I'll just say some quick stuff right now. I think Mr. Burley is going to retain the title. I think that I think Big Swole is going to beat Serena Deeb. She continues to help further influence the women's division. And as far as the tag match, I got to go with Jericho and Hager. And that's all that's really known for now. So we'll see what happens. Anyway, as I was previously saying, support Wrestling House big and small, support wrestling folks at the heart of it. And let's keep growing this incredible, diverse, unique, elite, authentic, unscripted, unrestricted wrestling community together. Simple as that. With that being said, thank you so much for tuning in. Please like, share, subscribe, comment, and tell a friend. Hit the bell, know when this video goes on this channel. Hit the subscribe button, help me keep growing this channel. Shout out to 168 of you that's moving this fun user creation journey. I guess being a gamer kind of helps too. And yes, I started Twitch. It's N Foster 191625. I'll be streaming again on Saturday and try and figure out a schedule and other stuff too. I'm just starting this new venture. We'll see what comes from it. It seems like it's going to be a fun hobby for sure, though, too. Anyway, I hope you all take care and enjoy life. Tomorrow's never guaranteed. Treasure your families. Enjoy wrestling. Please be safe. Be positive. Take care of those around you. Be aware of those around you. We'll all get through this together. Support WrestleJoy. Support NoDQ. Support Team All Elite. And until the next video, wherever you are in this fine world, I hope you all just take care and have a wonderful evening. Kokigenyo, sayonara.